With the microphone on, it's better. Welcome to everyone. Good morning. Today we will be talking about a slightly different subject from usual. Since we worked a bit on reworking the admin, we dropped a few messages in the Slack, so you are mostly aware of it. But I will let Luka, who is here with me today, to introduce it and talk about it.
Yeah, but basically, some time ago, Stéphane told me about the issues that you guys at Sylius have with the existing admin bundle. The semantic UI is deprecated, it's not maintained anymore, and changes are hard to do. So the idea was to think of a way how we could replace that or fix it in some way. So there were ideas doing it decoupled, but that introduced a whole bunch of issues for the plugin ecosystem, so that's out of the options. In the end, we kind of talked like using Bootstrap would be the best option. Just remove all of the semantic UI dependencies and use the Bootstrap ones, replace them with them. So yeah, I had some time on my hands at the time, still do for a while. So yeah, I'm working on that. We have something ready, something to show, so we want to invite the community to take a look at it, to give us some comments, some pointers, directions, stuff like that, and that's basically the point.
Yeah, don't hesitate to come in the chat and try to drop questions. If you feel like something is not going the right way, or if you have some ideas, you can just log into the chat and tell us. And also, if you want to just give a feedback, even a positive one, that would be appreciated. So feel free to log in.
Okay.
So we can start about
I would like to. The goal is to show you how the admin looks now. But before going into that, there's two different projects, let's say, going on. At the moment, I'm just switching out the classes and making it look bootstrappy, using their classes and improvising a bit in the meanwhile where I need to, where something is not clearly defined by Bootstrap itself. So, but the idea is the design team from Locastic as well, they want to develop like a Figma file with the whole design system for Sylius. It will have all of the pages, but it will be broken down to atomic design. So you have smallest atoms, like primitive components, stuff like that, some bigger ones, and you can then build, for example, if someone is developing a plugin, they can use, it will be an open source Figma file. So
great.
You can use that one to build your own additions to Sylius, or if you're just developing for a client, for yourself, and you need some custom features for yourself, you can also use that to modify what you need. So
that has been asked quite a lot of time in the Sylius community.
Yeah,
I remember I saw a few discussions hey, is there any Figma available so we can try something?
Yeah, I think Marco from Locastic has been in communication with some of the people in Sylius for a while about that. And yeah, the idea is I will first complete this one, improvise Bootstrap without the design, and then we will sync together and try to build on top of it to uplift the styles and build it into a Figma file with all of the components separated, so it can be worked upon and developed further by the community. So you'll be looking at my and Bootstrap's design at the moment, but the final one will be upgraded.
Okay.
So yeah,
great.
maybe you can switch to that.
Yeah, we can start sharing what's done for now. So here you are with the login screen, quite usual, quite similar. We will make a comparison the whole time with the existing one based on the demo, so you can see you're not lost, and for now it looks the same.
Yeah, the idea is to keep everything at least structurally the same, and just switch out the missing dependencies. That's the main issue, and if we can uplift the design here and there a bit, that's fine. But we want to keep the structure and the knowledge that Sylius users already have intact, so they can just switch over to this team and continue their workflow like they would usually.
Great. So we are on the dashboard page. Can you tell us a bit more about this one?
Yeah, to start, I'm going to guide you a bit to where you can click. For
Yep.
start, we can look at some broken pages later on, because not everything is yet done. So yeah, the dashboard is like the first screen. We have we can do a small detour to the JS side here, but we'll come back more to it later. So all of the features that the main the old dashboard, maybe you can log in.
Yep.
The beta,
Here.
it just translated one-to-one all of the same parts. For this example, this chart requires some JS functionality, and it's written with char.js library, so that's fine. But we have some functionalities which are written with dependencies from the semantic UI. So all of those should be either replaced or modified or something like that. We can talk about that further on, but for this example, this works as it is. The current dependencies are fine. The classes are all replaced with bootstrap one, and everything kind of just works. And I think that just
I think
work,
I don't.
so yeah.
Oh no, I didn't click.
Okay.
That's not on you. Okay, no, not completely. That one of the broken part.
Yeah.
It's the joy of the live demo.
Maybe we can go to the products.
Yeah, sure. Here we are, and let's open the previous one as well.
Okay, so here we have like again the same exact thing. You can maybe open the filters or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it all works like the same, and yeah, you can.
You're afraid.
A bit, yeah. You can toggle the sorting and stuff like that. The bulk select thing also works. I'm not sure about the buttons on the right. I tried using like different colors to make them like differentiate. Yeah, but it kind of looked all over the place with a lot of colors. So I'll leave that part for the designers. For now, it's just white, so it's not I don't know, too distracting.
Okay.
So
I already noticed a feature that some of you. I will just shut down the cam so you can see him, because you can see it.
Exactly there.
It's a known bug in Sylius for like a long time. When you try to open the last one here, it just like pops the whole list, and then you can scroll.
Maybe someone doesn't know, we can see it in the.
Oh yes,
in the
yes,
other
sure,
version.
sure. Like here it is. If you go here, oh no, okay,
Okay,
it's my
they
bad. It
fixed
has
it.
been fixed. Okay, it was a bug in the old one, and then it like would just put the list. But okay, this
they
is
fixed
fixed.
it as well. Okay.
Nice one.
Okay, so yeah, maybe we can. Maybe I could talk about the. No, let's keep it for now. Let's go to a single product, maybe a
Yep.
details page. Okay, so we have.
We'll just open the
yeah.
previous one as well.
Yeah, just everything is recreated here. So
You have all the
so
accordions, all the
someone is trying
translations.
the code with me.
Yeah, and I know who is.
Yeah, that feature that doesn't work. So.
It was a trap. It's to force you to log into the chat and try the feature, and then laugh.
Yeah, so maybe we can. So this part, for example, you skipped a bit to the bottom. It's okay. This part I've written some custom JS to handle this, and I'll have to go back. The idea with the JS is we need to like remove the semantic UI dependencies. And in cases where we have like a function in JS file which is provided by Sylius and uses some of the dependencies, we can try to replace them with some custom JS. But for some functionalities that are purely semantic UI, we will write a complete file of our own to handle it. And I would prefer to use vanilla JS instead of jQuery, just so that if at some point we want to get rid of jQuery, we have less files to rewrite.
So always good. It's a huge library, and since the latest Bootstrap, if I'm not mistaken, does not rely
it's
on
dropped from Bootstrap. It's not
so
the
that's
dependency
great.
for that. Yeah.
If we can get rid of this one, it's always a plus.
Yep. So yeah, the part above is a bit fixed. I would say you can compare it. The tabs.
This one.
Here, yeah, the Bootstrap also provides this kind of tabs with kind of no border on the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't work if you have too much items. So I went with something like this, so it's still clear what you selected and it doesn't look visually broken.
Yeah,
So some small details like that can uplift the design. I also did a lot of accessibility issues. There
Mhm.
were like spans with click events and stuff like that, which should have been buttons, so you can tap to them. They have maybe you can use the tab on your keyboard.
We will try in a form.
Yeah,
here,
yes,
here it does
somewhere
not make sense.
yeah, not much to click on here. Yeah, but I'm paying close attention that everything is accessible
Mhm.
with the keyboard. Everything has proper focus states, and Bootstrap really helps with that. It already has like good outline states and stuff like that. But you need to use the right elements, and in some places they weren't used. So,
Okay.
like a side benefit from dropping the semantic UI, we will get better accessibility as well.
Nice. Sounds good for now.
Yeah, so maybe we can go to the edit page, and then there are more
Yep.
forms over there. So
No, it's not the same. This is the same. Should be.
okay, this is one I haven't worked on yet. The T-shirt dress size. So if anyone in the chat maybe has a good open source vanilla JS library for this, it's usually you can show it in the in the original. No, it's actually not that component. The font is the
Which
same.
one are you talking? This.
There's
this
an
block here?
autocomplete feature. Maybe you can see it in taxonomy.
In taxonomy there is,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. That one is hard coded, just a
Mhm.
placeholder for now. But you can see it in the original one. Yeah. So
This
you can
one.
select one. Select a couple of options.
Here is a
Only one.
single one. Here you will
Yeah,
have
yeah.
multiple
There are
one.
different variations. So basically, we lost that because we can't use semantic UI. But I would prefer not to write this whole thing myself because it can be complicated to maintain the states and stuff like that, to figure out the accessibility right. So if we can find a vanilla JS version of this that could work and plug it in, that would be the optimal solution. If not, we can write it, but then it has to be maintained. I would prefer that.
I'm not sure. Victor is mentioning the autocomplete. I don't know
The
if it's
autocomplete?
the name of a plugin or just like
Yeah,
he's
maybe
talking on
Victor
that
can.
subject. So we are going to check that plugin to see if it can be used.
I see something jQuery UI, but we're trying to not use jQuery.
Oh, you're just talking. Okay, I think
and
he's
the-
just talking about the feature.
Yeah, the feature inside the Sylius is autocomplete. There are different JS autocomplete files which handle that, but I'm not sure, do they just depend on semantic UI, or are they? Yeah, I think they just depend. There's like a Sylius part and semantic UI part, but we kind of have to switch that out. And it's a feature which is not so much straightforward. So I would prefer that one to be maintained by someone separately. But if we can't find it, we can write something for that.
It should not be a big one, but
Not
the
too big,
less
yeah,
code
but
we write, the better for us.
Like I said, it's great that Chart.js is used. I would like to use like specialized, well-maintained, separate libraries wherever we can.
We have a proposition like Tom Select.
Tom Select?
I don't know.
We're not going to like check them out on
Yeah,
the stream now,
we
but
can note them.
if you have ideas, we will write them down and check them after the stream. Maybe mention them in the Sylius Slack later
Yeah, we
on.
can
if
create even a
suit.
poll
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Sylius Slack and say like which one do you use the most, and
Which one do you prefer? Yeah.
That's a good
reasons
idea.
to use it or not. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so you're on the screen where I do have some JS I've written or replaced out. So maybe you can just use the category T-shirt
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so it still works. Maybe just compare it to the old one.
here is the old one. So
Yeah, it's
slightly
pretty much
different
similar,
look.
different icons. We can go back to the icons after this, but can you put my code?
Yes,
on the
sure.
screen?
And here we should be.
So yeah, this is basically the example I was talking about. This is a Sylius JS file, Sylius lazy chose 3. It handles the component we just saw for the taxonomy tree, and just at the start, it imports 2 different dependencies from the semantic UI library. So the most of this logic can be kept in place. It's all fine, but in parts where it depends on the semantic UI, I just replace for now with it was using like this tree API thing. I just replaced it with the fetch method and remove like what was before send, and on success is happening like when the promise is resolved and before the fetch is initiated. So in some cases we'll have to do something like this, like to modify existing Sylius file just with smaller parts, but that kind of drags the question: where should we do it in the admin? Can we collaborate with Sylius to modify some of those parts in the core in some future updates and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So the JS part is still one of the things which needs exploring and experimentation. So yeah.
Yeah,
but some general idea would be to replace the dependencies out and write our own code where we need to, and handle it like that.
Okay.
Okay, you can switch back
To the admin. Let's go.
yeah, maybe just
No, there are some other propositions of libraries.
yeah,
we
can
will
catch
extract
those.
them and make a list.
Yeah, maybe we can just go over the form a bit more, like the attributes, or I'm not sure
Yeah.
the attributes work. Yeah, it's there fine.
Then
Yeah,
there
that's
is
the
no
archive.
complete
Yeah,
choice type, as we just said.
I think the association one doesn't work. And I did something with the media one. The media one should be fine. Yeah, that's one.
That's also not a complete, so
Yeah.
that's why.
So,
And
yeah,
the
maybe
media.
you can delete it. Maybe edit if you have some file too.
Not sure.
Not sure. Okay,
No.
if you don't want to.
I won't go in that direction in the
Okay,
live.
okay. Let's skip that. Then you can see there are like bootstraps alert messages working as well. Yeah, so that part is fine as well. Okay.
I'm exploring a bit.
Yeah. I just wanted to propose you could just kind of click around, see what's happening.
And make
some
it
of them
break.
will be broken. So this one is quite broken.
Yep.
So yeah, let me just
Sorry.
scroll to the top. Yeah,
This is a left tab menu as it is on the product.
maybe you can see that on the product page I made the. It should be sticky if you can go to a page which it sticks to the top. I would kind of prefer all of the sidebars did that, but on the taxonomy page there could be like a ton of taxonomies, then we couldn't scroll on the left side. So maybe I can try to talk with the designers to kind of find some solution around that, because if you go to the taxons page.
Yep.
The sidebar is taking a lot of real estate of space, and just after like the first scroll, it's not available anymore. So
Yeah, and in some shops this can grow extremely
large. Yeah,
really.
yeah. So maybe that can be also like the main sidebar is toggleable, so you can move it to the side. Maybe we can think of something like that. But yeah, that's just something I was thinking about.
Yeah, it's part of the small enhancement that we can bring along the time. Like for now, we can stick to the to what existing, and then we can try to enhance a bit.
Okay, maybe just.
Yeah, inner scroll within the sidebar. It's also, but
I experimented a bit with that. That didn't really look good. And then you have to handle the scroll by side styles, which are different in different browsers, and usually it's hard to get them look right because it's not natural for scroll bars to appear in the middle of a page. So it could be an even worse user experience. So I would avoid that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the pages you can click around and see what happens. Like a lot of the first level pages pages are okay. When you start going in to more depth,
Like not this one.
I didn't handle those too much. Just the first part, like catalog products and stuff like that.
Even still have the flags.
Yeah, these are actually
It's
new
the s-
flags.
Oh, okay.
It's a different library. I can just take a quick look and let you guys know.
Feel free to join in the chat and tell us what you think also of this look. Does it disturb you? Is it like too different from the original, or do you like it?
It's just a flag icons npm
Mhm.
module which was used, and also the icons were. We can talk about a bit about icons because I have one issue with icons which maybe you could help me. So in general, just to explain that part, I do the front end part, but I'm not so familiar with Sylius. So for everything, I don't know where to find the template or how to override something. Stephane helps me. So with the icons, these are bootstrap icons now. I replaced like the semantic UI ones, and they have a different syntax to make the icon. So in semantic UI, it was like icon, then icon name, and then you can have like modifiers like outline or something like that. But here with bootstrap icons, you have like by, like bootstrap icons, then by dash the name of the icon.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever icons are used, I have to like change that. But the other issue is some of the icon names are defined in YAML files.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as things are now, we would have to like include all of those YAML files with overrides in our team, which doesn't seem really ideal. So that's something for you to think about,
Yeah.
if we can kind of work around that. For me, it seems like a bad practice to keep like the configuration of functional things with like visual details like that. What's the icon name? It doesn't seem like it's the right place.
You also have icons in some PHP file. When it comes to the menu, you define the icon inside the PHP class
PHP
directly.
files. Yeah, so we would actually have to change those as well. Yeah, and then it gets really hard to maintain that, because if someone wants to override it in his own way, and then he has to use our file, we'll have to think about how to solve that somehow differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, another bait for the code with me.
A bait for
The code with me, no, it does not work. Sorry.
Yeah, so my idea was, I would like, so for example, this is what we choose to do now, like the bootstrap icons. But in general, for the long term, maybe we want to, there's a reason to use some other icon set. So the way it's now, you have to go in a bunch of different places where the icons are shown and just change the classes. I would like to do some class icon macro, which can be used, and then in one place we can kind of define how those classes are
So
structured.
you would call from the YAML or something, you would call the macro name and
no,
then
I
the
wouldn't. I would try to completely remove those from the YAML, but that's a separate topic.
Okay.
When I'm let's just ignore the YAMLs for now.
Okay.
For example, I don't know, here in the status components, this enabled one, I have like the I tag with a couple of classes. I would rather call a macro there, and the macro knows how to compose the class names for that particular icon set. For example, with Fontosum, it will have like a FA prefix. For this, it has BI. In semantic UI, it doesn't have a prefix, but that macro would handle how to construct. You just give it like a name, which is an identifier, and then it's handled which icon set to use only in one place. So maybe someone who uses our team can just go in that one file and change how the classes are constructed for the icons, but then we still have this problem with YAML files we left beside, which needs to be fixed separately. So maybe there could be a YAML file, but just for the mapping of different like entities and their respective icons, but to separate that part from any other logic which is not related to design. So, but that's more of your
topic to open in the Sylius community and
Yeah.
try to gather some feedbacks. And yeah, we do have macro in Sylius for a lot of things, so this could be also done.
For the icon, definitely. Yeah, the YAML thing, the configuration, is kind of tricky to do in a way that's let's say backwards compatible. We will have to do something with Sylius, either that, or if we just do it on our own for the plugin for the theme, it will include a lot of files with those small overrides, which will be like really bad to work with. So yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have let's say not really similar, but maybe similar issue that I would also like you to talk about with the UI bundle thing. Yeah.
Okay, that's
as I understand, that's a big pain point in the Sylius community as well for a long time. So we were talking about some different ways to fix it, but I think you can go with your suggestion.
Yeah, sure. So just for the small reminder for those who are not comfortable with that, one problem, let's say, we have in Sylius is that everything goes to the UI bundle, and the UI bundle is shared between the shop, the front, and the backend part. So if you change like a button behavior or a button look, you end up like changing it on both of the environment, let's say, and that's not really what you want in a lot of cases. So one idea to provide like a transition period could be to in the admin bundle just use admin templates, and those templates would fall back on the UI bundle if they are not overridden. That would help like slowly getting rid of the UI bundle, and ultimately the idea would be to like completely remove all the templates in that UI bundle and just have admin and shop. And so that's basically the best idea, but I don't know if there is any other points, on any other approach that we could take on that, but for sure it should be done at some point in the Sylius core.
In the Sylius core, yeah, because it's a similar issue. We're coming to those situations which, we can address this question as well. So someone asked, is this going to be implemented in Sylius directly, or is it it's a personal project, and it will be provided as a plugin. It's like maybe we can say it's like an experiment. It's a playground to try to figure out this issue, and like the best case scenario is that one day it turns out to be good and it can be implemented in the core. The community accepts it, and but that's something far away.
Yeah.
We just want to play around with the problem. And
so to start with, you will be able hopefully to install it like on any existing project. We will talk a bit later about some problems that we may encounter, but you could be able to install it on your existing project and then have like a fully bootstrap admin, and why not in Sylius 2.0 or some like later release,
like a major version.
Be the first choice.
Yeah, the thing is, we keep encountering these kind of issues where doing it as a plugin would mean that we have to ship a bunch of files to override some things, like for the UI bundle or for the icons or things like that, because things are not decoupled properly. So we're kind of like weighing it. Either we have to convince the Sylius guys to kind of decouple that, or we have to ship a bunch of files with overrides, which are going to make the developer experience in the end really bad and not worth the update. So hopefully we can talk with Sylius team, and some of those could be like decoupled and still be better in Sylius by itself without introducing any changes for the end user. Just the internals could be refactored, decoupled, so they're easier to work with, to work on top of. Yeah, but that's something to discuss. We can also do, if that's not an option, we can try to see how to do the overrides in the least painful way for the developers.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We can talk about perhaps our next big issue for the JavaScript files. Did we already covered all the problems on that?
We talked a bit about that. Yeah. Maybe the bigger issues we can go to the big issue, the backwards compatibility with plugins and stuff like that. The JavaScript part kind of, and everything kind of converges in that issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone in the Sylius Slack said building a team is the easy part, the hard part comes afterwards. And yeah, we are aware of that. This part wasn't that hard, it's just replacing classes here and there and figuring out how things work and how to work with that. And but yeah, doing the backwards compatibility part is going to be challenging because all of the plugins are already made with semantic UI.
Yep.
Yeah, and the idea is to keep the old semantic UI libraries in the project. Maybe we could have like a toggle or even just a YAML file, turn it off and on to have like a feature flag if you want to turn it off to lower the load of the page. But by default I will have them open. So if you install any plugin that depends on them, it would still work, it will still be displayed. And then if there are, someone mentioned a lot of plugins use semantic UI based classes.
Yep.
To introduce some functionality, not in their own code, but to hook into existing components from the original admin, and then add functionality. That's again a bad practice that we kind of are banging our heads with, because semantic UI classes are like visual thing, and someone is attaching logic to it. So we'll have to see. The idea is to take 5, 10 or something like that, most popular plugins, and then install them one by one and experiment and kind of define the problem space. What are the issues that keep happening, and how can we address one by one? So we'll have to experiment with that. The long-term goal will be to kind of reach out to the biggest plugin developers and kind of convince them they should move to Bootstrap as well, because we would provide both some guidelines on how to do it and the Figma file with new design system and stuff like that. So I think the idea is maybe not with this project, maybe we can just discover the problems that someone can take over or something like that, but in the long run it's an unmaintained package, so Sylius has to, at some point, the whole community, the ecosystem has to go away from the semantic UI. So we're exploring that space. At the moment we're going to discover what the problem space looks like, but at some point, it can't be maintained. It's not maintained, so
yeah, absolutely. But that's why we are trying to provide smooth transition, and so some screen would look like this is Bootstrap and this is semantic inside the same admin.
Actually, it doesn't have to. My thoughts were to provide. Again, it will be like that transition period. Like you can turn on, turn off the semantic UI bundle when you have it on. I would also provide a small STSS layer which targets the old semantic UI classes and styles them in a way so they fit in with the Bootstrap.
So it looks a bit like Bootstrap, but it's not completely Bootstrap.
Yeah,
so it's not like
two
different pages.
That code will be messy. It's really bad practice and stuff like that. So we're going to keep that one isolated, so it can be drawn off as soon as we can. But it's
we
possible.
all know
it's possible.
how that ends. Remove as soon as we can. Yes. After 10 years, it's still there.
It's still there. Yeah. Hopefully, this time can be different. But yeah, I wouldn't. I would like to try, because it's not technically impossible to do. Not even that hard. Just I'm sure it's going to end up with messy code, because you have to target the semantic UI classes, then override their styles and provide Bootstrap ones. So yeah, it's.
Yeah, there is an input of on that from Victor, who says that Sylius uses the dist CSS version of semantic UI.
Sylius uses
So I let you answer that because
when the point with the team is that we would once you use our team, we provide like the SAS files loaded and stuff like that. So you don't, and the scripts and styles trick files. So you will have like the default files to assets to load recommended by us. So you're not using the default version that Sylius uses out of the box. So once you install the admin, we handle what's loaded, and you can work on top of that.
Okay. Okay. I thought he was mentioning something different, but apparently not. He's satisfied with that. Great.
Okay, that's kind of the backwards compatibility part. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of problems that we are not even thinking about now.
Yeah,
once
absolutely.
we start doing it. But yeah, we'll try to keep the community involved once we find out which problems are the hardest. When we have like ideas, okay, maybe we can handle this with this approach and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's still like a subject open to discussion, and as you said, we will fix problem as we encounter them.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at things. I would prefer to jump into it to get familiar with the problem space and see kind of experiment to really know where the problems are, because like we could have said like there's a lot of plugins already which depend on semantic UI, so we can't really do anything about it. We can just talk, it would be good or something like that, but until we try, we really can't know what the actual problems are, and as I said, keeping semantic UI forever is not an option, so it's just postponing the issue which will come at some point. So yeah, that's it.
I'm just not sure if I remember correctly or not. Did we talk about why choosing Bootstrap over some Tailwind or some other libraries? Like, why did we choose Bootstrap?
That's something we plan to mention in the start, but yeah, we can do it now. So I personally prefer Bootstrap, not Bootstrap, Tailwind. I work with it a lot, but the idea here was like a lot of backend focus developers are going to work with it, and Tailwind is more if you have like a scale of more control or easier to work with. Tailwind makes it really easy to customize every last bit of the design, and Bootstrap gives you easy to work with pre-made classes, so it's more suitable for backend developers, plugin developers. They can just like the existing semantic UI works. You need some components. You go to the documentation, see the markup, copy it, change the things, insert them, and and it works kind of out of the box. That's the
like Symfony and Laravel. Yeah, okay, good comparison, Victor. Nice one.
Yeah, and Bootstrap also in its latest version, the 5 release, has a lot of. They started basically copying Tailwind, and they have their own atomic classes, so they're not as good as Tailwind does them, but they still work, and I use them all across the project, because if you have like a page and you have some 2 different components, you need to have some spacing between them, and you don't want to tie that spacing to a particular component, because in some other layout it can behave differently. Yeah. So there's actually just 2 ways to handle it. One is contextual CSS, so you have to have a file like in this page, this component, if it goes after this one, it has to have this spacing, or you can just use the utility classes, which are default in Tailwind and also not provided in Bootstrap, which can say at the place where you're using, okay, just give me with all of the existing styles, just add some space from the top or from the bottom or something.
Yeah, that's like completely fitted for an admin panel. Because we also sometimes want like, okay, this part will be very heavy, so we want more spacing. So if you have this kind of approach, I think it's great. It's like the same as semantic UI. Semantic UI had it also, perhaps in like a lighter way, but they had also.
I noticed a lot of like space or hidden or something like that was the name of
Hidden divider.
hidden divider.
UI
yeah.
divider.
And that just adds the space between it. Yeah, that's. I don't
Okay,
like
it's not exactly the
that
same.
approach,
Okay.
but yeah, it's similar. You're just adding something to the markup at the place where you want the space to exist, but you don't have to open a new file and define it there. But yeah, those are like technical and opinionated details, so we don't have to.
And
go a lot
could we
into that.
find? Would it be interesting to show like the code of one page with those classes, so everyone can see a bit more how it looks like internally, or is it not
could try
ready
that,
yet?
but there. Let me try to find something that's kind of.
It was completely
cleaner.
unplanned, but I like
Putting me on
I
the
like the
spot, yeah.
surprise. Yes.
So some files still have like leftover semantic UI classes, which
Yeah.
will need to be cleaned up at some point. But let's try to go with the dashboard. So which template would that be? Just let me check. Can you inspect it and see the template name?
Yeah, sure. Okay, we don't have the toolbar, so I can give you the template name for sure, but we can have the dashboard content or this list here. Let's
Let me check.
dashboard / latest.
Oh, that's the one of the tables.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let me. Can you switch over to my screen?
Yes, it is possible.
Okay. Okay. So this is a really small file. Yeah, I can. I have the site open over here. Okay. So yeah, this is one of these two, I guess.
The left one, yes.
Yeah. So let me just go over what's happening here a bit. So there are no. Yeah, there's actually this. No. Those are the both ones. This is
Oh,
one
both.
and this,
Okay.
this is the other. So yeah, basically these are utility classes provided by Bootstrap. Actually, this could be a bit better. This is a flex utility. It makes them like align side by side, and I make them all both 50% of the width. But actually, there's a better way to do this in Bootstrap. I would use like the columns, and it should be easier to read.
Yeah, this looks like
Yeah.
semantic syntax as well.
Yeah. So if refresh that, it's still the same. Yeah, so not a great example, but this one looks better. So basically, you just create your layout with these helper classes, and maybe we can go into this one.
That's the right one with orders.
Yeah.
For those who could not follow.
Yeah. So we have like this card component, which is used instead of the UI segment thing that was in semantic UI. So it looks like this. It has like a small header and like borders, a white background, and creates like this modular kind of blocks of content. So that one is used all over the place. We have like font size utility classes, one for the like compound component, something like that. It belongs to the card and it's the card's header, and we also in some cases have the card body, but in this case when we're using the table we don't need the body because the table has its own borders, has its own background. So not in this case, but usually it's card header and card body to define like these blocks of module, like blocks of content. And the table have their own styles. I left like the IDs wherever I can, data attributes and stuff like that. I only removed the semantic UI classes, and sometimes that's going to cause a problem because someone was hooking in to those classes either by JS internally or but you have to test all those things and see if we can. If we have to, we can just restore the classes and leave them do the JS part like an intermediary solution. But in the long term, we would have to decouple the styles from any kind of functionality. Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting like it's almost completely done in Sylius. Like we have behat tests that are hooking onto those data arch. We have,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some JS indeed is still
Is still, I
coupled with
noticed
that.
a couple of JS files which will have to be. So this is an example I still have leftover
Semantic
classes.
UI,
Yeah, but this actually doesn't do anything now. So if I just remove it, it will stay the same. I'm not sure if this kind of looks broken. I'll have to see what's happening here. This one is smaller and this one gets stretched, but
Yeah.
never mind.
Victor is asking what's happening with the inline colors that you had on the screen. Yes.
Yeah,
those.
I'm not sure. Are these ones? These ones were like that in the original code. I was just looking at that as well. This should be replaced with a text color class for maybe text secondary we can use. Just do it like. The code is still like a construction site, so it's not nearly ideal. So yeah, these can be replaced with something like writing on stream.
Live coding is always hard.
Yeah. So this would be a better approach to use a class and to keep to make sure we're in the design system, and the design system can be overwritten from changing the variables.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not having colors defined in markup. That's a bad practice. I'm not sure. Did I just leave this in from the original version, or I was just doing a quick hack to see it working? This is probably one of the first files I touched when started working on this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an example. I'm kind of nervous.
It's
about
leftover.
opening.
I was just checking. It's a leftover from the
original
existing one. Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, because I did write some. We can go to the position. Yeah. So I did write some inline styles. I think that can be fine. Sometimes, so this is the would it be, yeah, this component is for.
Okay.
So for the, not sure, can you see on the screen, it's pretty light. It has like a circular background to the numbers, so they stand out a bit. So go back to the code. In those cases, I think it's fine to use inline styles for that. I wouldn't want to like have a special CSS file to define this. It won't interfere with anything. It's very improbable that we'll have to overwrite it from somewhere. So, in Tailwood I will use like the size classes for that, but Bootstrap doesn't provide it. So sometimes when I have to apply some styles on an element which Bootstrap doesn't apply, and I think that using the inline styles won't. They're often considered a bad practice, but for particular reasons. If I don't see those reasons in that case to be problematic, I will jump to use them and define things like that. I think it's readable. It should be fine too.
Yeah. Victor is asking like those are badges in semantic UI. So apparently Bootstrap does not provide the same kind of labels.
Bootstrap provides badges, but if I just put a badge and a number, for example, we have I've used Bootstrap badges for stuff like for this. So these are their labels. But if I just put a number in there, it doesn't look like a circle. It's kind of an ellipse.
Ah, okay, enlarged.
I didn't want to like hack into their original component, and this is just like a number in a circle. So I don't see really a need to use a pre-built component. I can just define the size at the place, and it kind of works. It's maybe there's a better way to do it, but it's like completely
part of the small improvement that we can also do over the time. And
it's a, how do you say it? not an important part. So
Yeah, sure. Okay, I think we had like a nice overview of all the features that are currently done. Am I right?
Yeah, basically you can like click around the admin, see how stuff looks, but it's mostly tables. It's all basically the same.
Yeah, that's a basic admin.
Yeah, the internal pages just need some time invested more to go over the things and just replace the classes. But I pretty much see the final pattern of these are broken and yeah, most of them are like the same process. You go in, I already now know if I see this set of classes, I have to replace them with these ones, and it's starting to go very quickly. But yeah, once we do that, then we have like big struggles with JS, with testing the plugins, doing the backwards compatibility stuff, syncing with the design team. Actually, that part is also going to be fun and not that hard. Like to uplift the design a bit more.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. But I'm also excited about the hard parts, like the backwards compatibility, to really wrestle with that and see what could be done.
Yeah, backward compatibility and plugin external plugin installation.
Yeah.
That okay. We have many different approach, many possible solutions, and we will find something, especially with all the community involved and everything. Everyone proposing solutions.
This kind of boring part of just replacing the classes, I would like to complete that. So we're done with that. Maybe add a design layer on top of it, make the files move the leftover classes, make the SAS files easy to work with before we open it to the community. And once we have like
talking about what you would like to do, what are the next plans? What are the next steps that we are willing to take? What will we be doing?
So as I said, we have to clean up the repo and finish the class name replacement. So that part is like out of the way. Then we would like to first I would like to get this online. So we have like some, however we call the. By the way, the internal idea for the team name is Sylify, but it's the designer's idea. So if anyone has other suggestions as well, we could do a poll at some point. We're not still.
I will just write it down.
Set on the team name.
Written like that, right?
It's far from to me, but I believe it. Sylify. It's like Netlify, but Sylify.
Yes. Okay. I'll just write it down so everyone sees it.
So let's say it's Sylify, then we will have like sylify.com/demo or something like that, where you could preview the theme, and at that point we would open like our repository to be public, and you can contribute. We would also then try to talk with the community, because these were like the simple options, but for anything more complex, more impactful, we would like to have bigger discussions with the community.
Absolutely.
And say, we thought about this, these are the approaches that we were thinking about, we think this would be good for that, bad for that, and stuff like that. And then have everything further moving through PRs and stuff like that, with like communication, reasoning about it, and stuff like that.
That's the steps for the next month. Like, do we have an approximate time frame for all of this?
The ideal case that we want to aim for is like the end of the summer, sometimes October. We have this, let's say, production ready, maybe. Like, if you're using like an existing site with a lot of overrides and stuff like that, then probably that's the harder case to cover. But it will be ideal if we could get it to October. You're starting a new Sylius project. You can start with installing this theme, and then if you do some overrides on top of it, it will be good. But it mostly depends on the plugin backwards compatibility, because if someone needs some plugins which turn out to be really difficult to
adapt,
make them work with this, that will be a struggle, but yeah, that's just the problem space we still have to explore.
Yeah, true, but it should be a time frame long enough to have something ready by that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we will see also with the plugin producer, like, are they willing also to contribute and make their plugin compatible at some point if we manage to find a correct way.
At some point we would have to reach out to plugin developers, but yeah, coordinating that in the early phases could be really tricky because we have to have some tractions in order for them to care, and yeah, it's kind of, and we have to have some plugin compatibility in order to people to care for our team, so we will have to work that out as time goes.
Okay, great. Do anyone have any question? If you do, just pop in the chat. You can write a message. You can tell us what you think about that, what you think about the name already, even if we will create probably a poll later. Do you have anything to add on top of that?
Not really. Just if someone, it's like I said, at some point we would like to open this to the community for contributions. But in the meantime, if you have some ideas, if you have some propositions, concerns, anything like that, you can find us on Sylius Slack channel, tag us over there, send us a DM, either to me or to Stephane. We'll communicate together about it. And yeah, just reach out if you would want to get involved, if you want to warn us about some issues that we might see, or basically anything. You can find us at Sylius Slack.
Okay, great. And I think that's it. I think we covered all the
points we wanted to talk about.
All the points, we answered all the questions. So we'll just move to this. Have you thought about using an SPA, PWA, or whatever it's called?
These are actually two different things. So, yeah, the SPA would require like a kind of front-end framework like React or something like that, but that would be an even bigger nightmare for the plugin ecosystem because they will all have to convert to React or something like that, and there isn't really a way to have like a single page application in React and then to have some other code which would easily plug into that. It's not
they
really
would have to write like two plugins, the one for the Sylius backend and one for the PWA or single page app to extend it.
Yeah, the plugins for that would be, I'm not sure even how would it. Yeah, it requires a full app. Yeah,
that was the point I wanted to mention as well. Like currently, Sylius is almost fully covered in the admin for the API, but not all the plugins are covering the full API. Sometimes not at all. So this would be maybe too much work for them, even if it's the right direction. Like to push them to do it, it's not the role of this.
And I don't think to develop spas and like front-end heavy stuff, you need to have like good front-end developers which are working with that technology like daily. But the idea is here to have mostly backend developers working with this, making the plugins, and they're already familiar with Twig. They can learn bootstrap classes easily, and
if they are not already familiar with it.
Yeah. So it's a much more familiar stack for the backend developers than forcing them into React land.
Yeah, true, absolutely.
I was thinking about abstracting the components. Yeah, the general structure of Twig files, which can be rendered differently.
Okay, we'll just read the text out loud. So Victor was thinking about abstracting the components, so plugins use an abstraction which can be rendered differently depending on the front-end implementation. I'm not sure you get everything.
Yeah, let me try to.
Sure. I'm not sure I get it.
Yeah, so we will have like the main admin written in some front-end framework and plugins developers. Yeah, but the okay.
So instead of writing form tag,
You write like a custom form, plugin form.
okay.
Yeah, I would like to have, if we stick to Twig lane, I would like to have something like that over here, to have more like a component-based architecture, because it's kind of all over the place. There's not a clear architecture. There are some patterns of the grid elements, the CRUD folder and stuff like that, but the abstractions seem kind of all over the place. So you don't have a button that you include. You include like a create button, which kind of
you call it macro.
Yeah, so you have component, maybe custom HTML elements. Yeah, that's kind of a lot of different ideas. That there are like web components. Maybe you're thinking about that when you say maybe custom HTML elements. But yeah, preferably my ideal solution would be to keep Twig, because Symfony, Sylius developers are familiar with that. I don't have a lot of experience with web components. I know there are a lot of enthusiasts about them. A lot of people like that it's browser-based. It doesn't require additional packages, at least in theory, but most of them actually use some helper libraries to work with them.
Okay.
And the ergonomics, the developer experience of that didn't seem really nice to me, so I'm not sure how far has that came. So don't have much experience about web components. My ideal thing would be to keep Twig, use like when you include the template, you can pass in sub options.
Yep.
You can use that as you would props in React libraries and stuff like that. But to structure it to be really like, we have these atoms, we have these slightly bigger components like tables, like form holders or something like that, and then to build out pages with that. But now I often have to, like, I have one file in this folder, and then 4 levels above in a nested folder there's something else. But yeah, but I didn't want to change the structure just yet, because that's like a whole different project, and it includes a lot of like opinionated decisions, and that's also something that should be.
Yeah, and the first focus was given to like making it look bootstrap by changing the less DOM component or anything like that, or changing the less files. So if we can manage to do that by just changing the classes, that's the best solution in our mind.
That was like the goal of the project at the moment. Then abstract components at Twig level is still good. Yeah, that's what I would agree on. But it's just not something we would like to do at this phase of the project. We just want to get rid of the semantic UI first, see how to handle the backwards compatibility, and then if we have that figured out, we have like a base to make improvements on the structure, on the design, and things like that. Because at the moment, someone could have gone and said, okay, this structure is not good, let's build a new structure, and then redo it with semantic UI, but semantic UI is not maintained, so does it make sense to do it now? Because eventually we'll have to replace it out. So this would be like a base, the minimum viable product to build on top of it, to keep the admin
and also for the existing shops, like the work that it would require to switch just classes from semantic to bootstrap, compared to the work like redoing the whole DOM, because I'm installing a plugin, so I have to rewrite all my components. It sounds a bit too much. Okay, so Prometheus said, I agree with Victor. The current macro are making a part of the work right now, and writing bigger macro acting as component skeleton could be a good idea. Yeah, okay.
So good doc is needed. Definitely good documentation is always like beneficial, but also good code structure should be like self-explanatory, The problem is that it isn't now, so the docs would be even more useful at this point than with the proper structure. If you go to like the main templates bundle, you have like pages, you have like common components or something. You name them. It's much easier to like browse the code and use the code as documentation. But yeah, external documentation will definitely be and we're also, without doing any of that, we still want to write out some documentation for this one, so the installation, how to modify the styles, where everything is located, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, completely. I don't know if anyone has any other question regarding that.
Yeah. They started activating a bit now, so maybe we can wait a bit more. If someone
I will just switch back to the this one, just in case, like
maybe it can inspire someone for a question.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, you can show off my broken pages.
Let's show the orders. Orders are a big
yeah,
part.
orders are really broken.
Aha. Yeah, okay. Let's not show the orders. What about the bootstrap theme? Bootstrap theme, it's the front-end one, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
Are the two going to be compatible? I'm not sure. I don't know what it depends on.
But no, we don't want to keep the UI bundle shared. We already talked about this at one point in the stream.
Yeah.
We're still not completely clear in which direction to do that. Either we will like change all of the paths inside our plugin, so they're not depending on the UI bundle, and provide like it's basically the same files but on a different path, so that the front end stuff can work independently. Because even if everything is made compatible and it could work from the same bundle from the front end and the admin, I don't think it's good practice, because at the moment we are having a lot of issues because of that coupling, and doing it again doesn't make sense. Even if they're at this time the same component, someone may want to upgrade the admin part without affecting the front end part, or vice versa. So yeah,
that's as you said, a known problem, and we should really get rid of that shared part.
Yeah. So the bootstrap theme was the thing mentioned in Slack yesterday about someone made a PR with.
No. This PR was like enhancing, visually speaking, the admin. On Sylius, the bootstrap theme is the one for the store, the front.
For the store, yeah.
Only for that, but I'm not 100% sure of what bootstrap it requires. But still, if I'm not mistaken, you can install like both, and since you will compile the admin with one, and
they have like different entries. They'll compile.
Okay, so then there is no reason why they should not be compatible. Yeah, the most important part of UI bundle is grid templates. Yes, indeed, grid, some buttons, or some like smaller features, but still they are here and shared. And
basically, in the way that we will do it now, you will have like two sets of grid components, one for the front end, one for the admin, and they will come like from the similar base, but each one of them can be modified separately without affecting the other one.
Yeah. Okay, I think we covered all the questions and all the parts. In any case, we will create as soon each time that we will like doubt something, or if we want to discuss anything, we will create a thread.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. In Slack, there is the front end channel in Slack that you can join, the Sylius one, and also if you have some questions, you can also open a thread, of course, and we will gladly answer it as you already said it. And I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of this new rework. Let us know everything that can be improved, and I think we can